भावातीत ध्यान कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। भावातीत ध्यान कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। अनुभव कर लो, अनुभव कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। 20 मिनट बस ध्यान कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। सुबह शाम बस ध्यान कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। आसन प्राणायाम कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। अनुभव कर लो, अनुभव कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। भावातीत ध्यान कर लो। सबकी आत्मा शांति का सागर है, सबकी आत्मा आनंद का सागर है। सबकी आत्मा शांति का सागर है। सबकी आत्मा ज्ञान का सागर है। सबकी आत्मा ज्ञान का सागर है। सबकी आत्मा शक्ति का सागर है। सागर है, सागर है। अनुभव कर लो, अनुभव कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। 20 मिनट बस ध्यान कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। सुबह शाम बस ध्यान कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। आसन प्राणायाम कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। भावातीत ध्यान कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। अनुभव कर लो, अनुभव कर लो, जीवन पूर्ण बनेगा। भावातीत ध्यान कर लो।
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। नारायणं परमं वशिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं सुखं गौडपरं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं त्रोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरुं सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं वादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः यद्वारे निखिलानिलिम्पपरिषत् सिद्धिं विधत्ते निशम् श्रीमत्श्रीलसितं जगद्गुरुपदम् नत्वात्मतृप्तिं गताः लोका ज्ञानपयोदपाटनधुरम् श्रीशङ्करं शर्मदम् ब्रह्मानन्दसरस्वतीं गुरुवरम् ध्यायामि ज्योतिर्मयम् ध्यायामि ज्योतिर्मयम् ध्यायामि ज्योतिर्मयम्.
Jai Gurudev. Swagatam to early birds like Maria, Jayashree, Abhishek, Dabeji, Revati, Kanaka, Otto.
Jai Gurudev Hemaji and everyone. Jai Gurudev.
Gurudev.
Jai
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Brenda is here.
Hemaji.
Otto, Kanaka.
I'm sorry, I saw the message only now that you had given about displaying, and the sound issue has not yet been solved. So unless that is done, I cannot.
Okay, no problem. Puja volunteered, so we will begin now. Jai Gurudev. Welcome to our Maharishi Gita Satsang on Chapter 8, Akshara Parabrahma Yoga. We will begin with the group meditation. So let's sit comfortably and close eyes. Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev. Jai Shri. कृपया अष्टमोऽध्याय अक्षर परब्रह्म योग पारायणं कुरु. प्रथमं सहना भवतु.
अस्तु भगिनि. सहना भवतु, सहनो भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. अथ अष्टमोऽध्यायः अक्षर परब्रह्म योगः. अर्जुन उवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मम् किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते अधियज्ञः कथं गोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः. श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरो विसर्गः कर्म संज्ञितः अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृताम्बर अन्तकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरम् यः प्रयाति समद्भावम् याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः यं यं वापि स्मरन् भावम् त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरम् तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावभावितः तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मरयुध्य च मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः मामे वैष्यस्य संशयम् अभ्यासयोगयुक्तेन चेतसा नान्यगामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्थानुचिन्तयन् कविं पुराणमनुशासितारम् अणोरणीयां समनुस्मरेद्यः सर्वस्य धातारमचिन्त्य रूपम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् प्रयाणकाले मनसाचलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव ध्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणमावेश्य सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम् यदक्षरं वेदविदो वदन्ति विशन्ति यद्यतयो वीतरागाः यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं संग्रहेण प्रवक्ष्ये सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम् ओमित्येकाक्षरं ब्रह्म व्याहरन् मामनुस्मरन् यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहं स याति परमां गतिम् अनन्यचेताः सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः ब्रह्मभुवनाल्लोकाः पुनरावर्तिनोऽर्जुन मामुपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सहस्रयुगपर्यन्तम् अहर्यद्ब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिं युगसहस्रान्तां देहोरात्रविदो जनाः अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तयः सर्वाः प्रभवन्त्यहरागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्तसंज्ञके भूतग्रामः स एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यहरागमे परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यो व्यक्तो व्यक्तात् सनातनः यस्य सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति अव्यक्तोऽक्षर इत्युक्तः तमाहुः परमां गतिम् यं प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम पुरुषः स परः पार्थ भक्त्या लभ्यस्त्वनन्यया यस्यान्तस्थानि भूतानि येन सर्वमिदं ततम् यत्र काले त्वनावृत्तिम् आवृत्तिं चैव योगिनः प्रयाता यान्ति तं कालं वक्ष्यामि भरतर्षभ अग्निर्ज्योतिरः शुक्लः षण्मासा उत्तरायणम् तत्र प्रयाता गच्छन्ति ब्रह्मविदो जनाः धूमो रात्रिस्तथा कृष्णः षण्मासा दक्षिणायनम् तत्र चान्द्रमसं ज्योतिः योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते शुक्लकृष्णे गतिहेते जगतः शाश्वते मते एकया यात्यनावृत्तिम् अन्यया वर्तते पुनः नैते स्मृति पार्थ जानन् योगी मुह्यति कश्चन तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु योगयुक्तो भवार्जुन वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम् अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम् तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे अक्षरपरब्रह्मयोगो नाम अष्टमोऽध्यायः। जय गुरुदेव।
Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Today we will be studying verses 15 to 22 of chapter 8, Akshara Parabrahma Yoga. But before that, I will recap verses 10 to 15 that we have studied in our last session. First, I would like to begin with what Maharishi said about pranava. We discussed a little bit in the last session, but I didn't tell you what Maharishi said about this, so I would like to go over it now. In one of the meetings, one course participant said to Maharishi that one of his friends stopped using TM mantra and was using pranava. Pranava means OM. It is Maharishi instruction to Mother Divine Group that we do not say it. So we either say pranava or we say Am. In the beginning, I thought that it will be really hard, especially to live in India without saying pranava. But then, because it is Maharishi instruction, so I said I should follow it. And then when I put some attention on it and tried not to say it, it became easy for me. That particular course participant who was telling Maharishi about his friend who was using pranava instead of TM mantra, he said that his friend was telling others you should also stop TM mantra and you should use Am, and then you can save $35 of your TM fee. And then Maharishi laughed and everybody laughed. And then Maharishi said, tell your friend that he should stop using pranava. One sound will not be useful for all people. Teacher knows what mantra is good for different people. It's not right to pick up mantras from books or internet. One may pick up a wrong mantra and then lose more than $35. And everybody laughed again. Maharishi said, peace with dynamism is good. He may feel peaceful, but if he is feeling detached and there is no happiness, and if he's feeling detached and losing charm of life, it's not good. Glory of the mantra is enormous, but if it is not correct mantra, it can have negative effects. Then that course participant asked about hum. And Maharishi said, hum is that finest layer. It is nearest to transcending. It is at the basis of all relative creation. When the absolute starts manifesting, then this is the starting point of manifested relative creation. This hum, therefore, is the basis of all creation. As long as creation needs to go on, it is the hum that sustains all levels of existence. All layers of creation, from the subtle to the gross. And therefore, this hum is very life-supporting. What is this hum? It is like this. You strike a bell and you hear the hum. And by the time it dies out, such faint sound. Ears cannot even hear it. But continuously and eternally going on. So that faint sound, faintest sound, it goes on. Because at this end of that fine thread of hum is eternity. And at this edge of this fine thread is relativity. All relativity is springing out from there. And hum goes on till relativity goes on and on and on. This is not OM, OM, OM. It is not hum. When you gain mastery over hum, you gain mastery over creation. One Upanishad, that is Mandukya Upanishad, says that is source of creation, of knowledge, and of experience and everything. It is the source of everything. This is the huge, enormous glory of hum. It is 100% pranava. But there can be 75% of it, or 50% of it, or 25% of it. Now listen to this carefully. 100% is life-supporting. 75 supports life, but it has a destructive quality too. Because something that is eternally going on, that upholds creation, and some impulse like that is broken. When it is broken, it has influence of breaking life. So it will produce life-damaging influence to some degree. 50%, 25% will have even more breaking effect. When we say arm, this is 25% arm. it has more breaking effect. And how does it break life? By reducing dynamism, by reducing brilliancy, by reducing interest in life. This deeper peace leads to inertia. Not that peace of infinite value, which is in the transcendence area. So 25% does not produce that infinite value. It produces damaging effect. But the peace which has its stand in deep sleep, in the state of inertia, that is why we don't go for 25% of all the glory of that is there in books, that belongs to infinite hum at the basis of creation, one with the eternity of being, and not this short sounds of That's what Maharishi said. And then I added this point. One point of clarification is that can be used only by those who have been initiated into it by their guru and by Maharishi Vedic Pandits because they have special procedures. And then Maharishi ended by saying, it's very important to know the whole story. So this is the end of what Maharishi said. Now I will briefly recap verses 10 to 14. In the last two sessions, we have studied how and what to practice to realize the Supreme. We practice Anusmara and Anuchintaya and hold the thought of God at the deepest level of awareness by practicing transcendental meditation. Then we studied the nature of Purusha, that it is all-wise, ancient. Purusha is the ruler. He is atom of the atom, meaning it is the smallest. It is the sustainer of all. His form is inconceivable. He is self-effulgent like sun, and he is beyond darkness. We also learned what determines what next birth is going to be. It is the last thought one has at the time of departure from the body. Then we learned what happens when the prana leaves body. First, prana withdraws from body and senses follow. Then prana and mind go to the heart and then go to the head. There in the head, the gate of Sushumna opens, and this facilitates journey to Brahmaloka. Then recite Pranava. Continuous stream of short sounds and not long drawn out song. Not long drawn out sounds of with hum. We just found out what is the reason for that. This will create a calming influence in the body and helps one to be relaxed, and at the same time, short continuous stream of short sounds of will help the body to disintegrate, as we have just seen in what Maharishi said. And this should be done by steady mind full with devotion, means without straining. This is accomplished with yoga bala, power of yoga, means the ability of the mind to remain united in the self. That we have been practicing TM all our life, and so that TM practice helps one to build up this yoga bala. This is not something you suddenly do at the end of life, just at the time prana is leaving the body. Suddenly, if you want to build up yoga bala, it doesn't work like that. We are building this up throughout all our life by doing TM regularly. So that's where the regularity in meditation comes into effect. And also at the time when prana is leaving the body, it is necessary to put attention on God. We think of God when the prana is leaving the body. It is important for prana to leave from Brahmarandra, where Sahasrara Chakra is, in the top of the head. It connects the planes of transcendental absolute consciousness with the relative life. The highest gate of Sushumna represents that. If prana doesn't leave from here, one will have a rebirth. And one very important point I made last week, and also again I want to repeat, this technique of repeating arm is at the time of death only and not for practice during life. So this verse is giving the reassurance that God is attainable easily for those that are intent on practicing transcending. Then the last point I will make and stop. We talked about Markata Marjala Nyaya, monkey principle and kitten principle. Monkey principle is that entire responsibility is of the baby monkey to hold on to the mother monkey, and mother has no responsibility. Whereas in the kitten principle, kittens have no responsibility at all. Mother cat assumes all the responsibility. Similarly, entire responsibility is taken up by Bhagavan himself to take his devotees to him. When the mother cat jumps from here to there, it holds on to the baby cat. So baby cat doesn't have to do anything. So Bhagavan himself takes care of his devotees. And so all we do is we just do our TM and be happy. That's all. And one more reminder. Last week I have mentioned that one Vedic passage, Hridayam Mayi Aham Amrute Amritam Brahmani. This opens up the Sushumna and facilitates movement of prana and mind to head, because that's where Sushumna goes, from heart to head. It is in the Rudrabhishek mantras, and you can listen to it on Maharishi Digital Veda app and all those things. So I'll stop here and we will begin reading now. Any questions on this? We will discuss in the question answer session. Okay, Pooja, can we have a display of the commentary, please?
Himaji, see the chat, please.
I'm sorry?
See at the chat.
I can't understand you.
See the chat box of yours.
Himaji, she must have sent you a message. She would have sent you a message.
Yeah, make you co-host. I thought, oh, you got disconnected. Let me see if I can do that. I'm not very good at it. It's saying copy, quote, and delete.
Just click on my name and Select make co-host in participant list.
Yeah, in the past it used to let me make it, but now the screen and everything had changed. So let me see. Again, it's saying copy quote and did Sachin lead? Sachin is here. Oh no, Sachin left. No, Sachin is here. Sachin, please make Pooja co-host again. She got disconnected. Do you all see Sachin in the participants?
Yeah.
Sachin, please make Pooja co-host again. Sachin, are you there? He probably left with his mobile. Okay, Pooja, why don't you begin to read? We don't want to lose time, especially Jai Gurudev, Professor Bhuvnesh ji is here. I'm so glad. We shouldn't lose any time. Begin to read.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. I will, Pooja, begin to, no. Anita ji, please begin to read. And
Yes, Seema ji, would you please do the Sanskrit portion? Then I'll start.
yeah, and then once you get started, I will call Sachin so that he will make Pooja co-host again. Okay. मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गतिम्. Having come to me, these great souls do not obtain rebirth. The abode of sorrow, impermanent, for they have attained the transcendental accomplishment. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. When the soul is out of its unmanifested state of cosmic being, accepting the individual status, it is ever aspiring for more. This search for more and more constitutes the entire field of evolution. At the point of realization of the supreme divine consciousness, along with all the knowledge of the entire relative existence of the cosmos, one reaches the state of no more. This state of complete fulfillment is what is meant here by have attained the transcendental accomplishment. In this state, the process of evolution accomplishes its purpose. Sri Krishna Bhagavan says this happens after attaining me. The me of Sri Krishna Bhagavan is symbolic of the state of perfect harmony that exists between the unmanifest absolute and manifest relative existence, together with the conscious knowledge of all the complex and diversified aspects of creation. Having arrived at such a state of perfection, man attains a state of eternal contentment which leaves no room for unfulfilled desires. This puts an end to the cycle of birth and death, which holds the soul in ever-changing conditions of temporal existence, where suffering and discontent hold sway. Having explained the inner state of mind that rises to eternal freedom, and having made clear that such a mind goes beyond the cycle of birth and death, Shri Krishna Bhagavan in the following verse reveals the great span of different worlds where the soul remains in bondage. Jai Gurudev. Hemaji, verse 16.
I'm on mute. Okay. So when the soul manifests from unmanifest, it ever searches and aspires for more and more. And at the point of self-realization, when the soul experiences divine consciousness, it is fulfilled. Then there are no unfulfilled desires. And so this puts an end to the cycle of birth and death. So this is briefly what this shloka is telling us. Now, please go ahead with any questions. Dr. Bhuvnesh Sharmaji is here. We are so happy to have you here, and he will answer the questions.
Thank you, Hemaji. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
I have one question. Now, if at the time of that we go to the transcendent to go to Bhagavan, but we are not at the time reach cosmic consciousness, then we are not rebirth. Are we over? So are we? What happened to the God consciousness and unity consciousness, as Maharishi has said? If we at the time of that go to the Bhagavan.
Actually, once you are in cosmic consciousness, and then if the death is there, then the birth is not there again. Cosmic consciousness is we can say the ultimate. Once you get it, then no rebirth is there. And as far as once in Gita itself, Maharishi has explained that one has to not to worry for God consciousness or unity consciousness if one is going to death in cosmic consciousness. Even though in India, actually, we were discussing about this shloka, that once we get the unity, then there is no rebirth. But in India are examples when the devotees, they have desired to take the birth again, even though getting enlightenment, but still because they think that they enjoy. Once they are one with the God, then afterwards again they want to come just to bring perfection to all others as well and sing the glory of the Absolute. This is the state of those who are completely devoted to, we can say, the God.
Jai Gurudev.
And Ottoji, in the next 2-3 shlokas, Maharishi made it very clear in the commentary. So when we read that, your question will be even more clear directly from Maharishi ji, and Bhuvnesh ji had already answered that question. Once you are in cosmic consciousness, there is no rebirth. But like you are asking what happens to those who are not fully established, we are going to study that in the next 2-3 shlokas. It's very interesting. We are going to enjoy that. So shall we move on to the next shloka? I will read the Sanskrita and then continue with the English commentary. Okay. Abrahma bhuvanal loka punaravartinojuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Abrahma bhuvanal.
啊 ，Brahma
loka.
不问那 loka， punaravarti no juna， mamupetya tu kaunteya， punarjanmana vidyate。 Abrahma bhuvanal loka， punaravarti no juna， mamupetya tu kaunteya， punarjanmana vidyate。 Abrahma bhuvanal loka
Punaravartinojuna Mamupetya tu kaunteya Punarjanmana vidyate. All the worlds, even that of Brahma, belong to the cycle of rebirth. Arjuna, but on reaching me, there is no rebirth, O son of Kunti. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. All the worlds from our earth to that of the creator Brahma have different degrees of happiness to offer, which keep the mind engaged in the outside, in the gross. It is true that the soul in any of these worlds could very well be more by mere choice turn within and arriving directly at the state of absolute consciousness could very well harmonize the absolute and relative fields of life, thus attaining to the perfection described in the previous verse. This is what Bhagwan means here. Unless the soul realizes me, no matter in whatever world it dwells, birth and death will continue. The place of greatest happiness in the field of relative existence is the world of Brahma, where the highly evolved souls reside. Naturally, it is the world of greatest happiness in the field of relative existence, and therefore it is not free from the cycle of rebirth.
So this verse is saying that all the worlds, including the world of creator Brahma, are subject to the cycle of birth and death. And that the only way out of the cycle of birth and death is to reach Sri Krishna Bhagavan, the Absolute. So the place of greatest happiness is in Brahmaloka, where highly evolved souls reside. But this is still in the relative. This is the important point to remember. So it is subject to the cycle of birth and death. So now you may ask questions and Bhunesh ji will answer.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
So, if somebody dies in cosmic consciousness and they will gain rebirth again, so there is a possibility to go further in God consciousness and unity consciousness for them.
No,
No,
actually,
if-
we
if
said,
it-
na,
yeah.
if one dies in cosmic consciousness, then there is no rebirth.
But you are saying that they can take rebirth by their choice.
Yes, exactly. There are means examples in India that these devotees, they are so much happy that they want to show perfection in this manifest world as well. But as far as manifest is concerned, being in relative, it will be in the cycle of birth and death. You see, this is field of all possibilities. So a person, if he desires, it means if he is desiring, then he is in the field of relative. And because he is in the field of relative, then the rebirth will be possible. So,
So,
being the field of all possibilities, actually.
no, so Bhuvnesh ji, that means at the time of the end of life, we have to be in the absolute to not to be rebirth.
Exactly. Without that, without transcending, you must reach that level only, then only. And in India, there are examples like once they have taken the name of the god. There was a very, we can say, notorious person, and his son's name was Narayan. And then at the time of death, he just called Narayan. And because he was chanting the name of Narayan, he got
Oh,
enlightened. So there are
interesting.
examples. But at the time of the death, that the state should be transcendental.
All right.
But if the Puja's question is that in case someone wants, just as we say someone wants, it is meant it is in the field of relative. And so
Yeah.
the birth will be there. Because
Again.
it is the field of all possibilities. So whatever one likes, that will happen. So it is possible for a person in God consciousness also to live this life. And there are examples in India.
So you don't aim for moksha.
There are even devotees, they say that we just want the blessings of the Lord, that's it, not even the moksha.
But Maharshi said
It depends what
living
you want.
moksha is the best. Moksha
Living moksha.
by
So obviously a person
Okay.
living Jivan Mukt. There are examples of Jivan Mukt in the Raja Janak was the example of Jivan Mukt. Every individual, it is the birthright of every individual to live Jivan Mukt, actually. The whole purpose of
and
all this
Gurudev
is living life. Jai Gurudev.
and Gurudev is also an example of Jivan Mukta.
Obviously, there is no even doubt
So
about it.
is it that incarnation after CC people dies and take incarnation and then come again?
No, actually, after CC, because CC means that you live life in, we can say, transcendental consciousness is all time there. So when you are dying, you are in transcendental that way, and then you are not taking birth. But still, if we can say a person in cosmic consciousness, if he or she desires so, then the rebirth will be there. And it is all actually nature's plan, I will say. It is being in the umbrella of Lord Bhagwan, that is the only solution. Even transcendental meditation, every day, morning and evening, you are living it to nature. And then gradually the whole life is living life in accordance with the laws of nature. जैसा भगवान चाहे वो सबसे अच्छा है. Whatever
But
is
then
God's will in
there is no
Maharishi's words.
joy in.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I missed it.
Yes.
But then
No
there
joy.
is no joy to be in transcendence.
Joy is only in being in transcendence. Without that, joy is not there, because there will be suffering, there will be stress.
But if we compare it with unity or Brahman consciousness, there will be no joy in transcendence.
Yes, obviously, that is right. That is why one should aspire for the highest. And if the nature permits, then one will be in God consciousness in life itself. Yes.
Jai Gurudev.
It says, yes, Jai Gurudev.
May I just ask, it's a very personal experience I've had, which is relating to this. It's during the Maharishi light therapy. It relates to what Puja is saying there about like the flatness of the transcendence and then the joy of the moksha, but that's also transcendence and liberation. I had an experience during the Maharishi light therapy of a golden light, and I had it 3 times in different parts of the world. It was just so amazing, but it was too much for my nervous system. It was like falling in love 1,000,000 times, and I could feel all the karmic interactions in myself. My nervous system could not take that depth of love. And I had to keep begging for this energy to go. And it was like, really, I explained it as God. That's the only way I could describe it. And then it just withdrew each time I was begging for it to go. But then one time I had another experience of pure white light. And that white light was just pure evenness, absolute evenness. And with that evenness, I knew it was supreme, but it did not have all that emotion and joy of the golden light. And then I asked about this, and it was said to me that we go for the golden light and strengthen our nervous system so that we can embrace that whole experience. So it's always been a puzzle for me whether that light of that feeling level that was golden or the white light that was just pure flatness, but it was absolutely incredible as well. And I'm just asking you, I don't know what I'm asking there, actually. I'm just sharing that experience relating to this discussion. Thank you.
The only
Jai
thing
Gurudev,
comes
Professor.
Abhishek, let Bhuvnesh ji answer
to the
the
mind
question.
is after
Okay.
listening to your experiences, we will
Abhishek,
be coming to the
Abhishek,
next chapters.
Abhishek,
In the next,
Yeah, Didi.
let Bhuvnesh ji answer the question and then you ask, please.
Done.
actually, I was saying that it's such a nice experience she was explaining, and to my mind, only one thing comes that Bhagwan Krishna gave Divya Chakshu to Arjun, because with normal eyes, one cannot really experience that, or we can say have that much light as she was explaining. So, this is a divine experience, and we really need a divine chakshu to bear that for long. As she said that she wanted to, she was not able to experience it and to go away with it. So something like that is there. Yes. Good, very good experience. Yes.
Thank you.
Abhishek, now you
Professor,
can ask.
yeah.
Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yeah, Professor Ji, when see now Gurudev, we talk about Gurudev Jivan Mukti and all, but still we can feel Gurudev's Jivan Mukti even presence whenever a TM teacher or a TMC administrators performs Guru Puja before anything. Even if you witness that Guru Puja, we can feel that Gurudev is there in that hall.
Obviously, yes, that is right. This is the human nervous system which can invocate a devata. So we are invocating the devata Gurudev, and Gurudev is there. So you are right. That way Gurudev is there, but not in a physical form. He is there, but not in a physical form. This is the they sing the glory of the human nervous system, because this is the only human nervous system only can invocate a devata.
So those people who are into CC, if they leave the body also, their presence can be felt from just by remembering or just by invoking.
Yes, you can invoke it, obviously, and you can feel the presence. Yes, depending on you, depending on the person who is invocating, because nervous system is having all the abilities one can desire, and it will be there. Yes.
One thing, Professor, when we went to Kashi, there is, I had read it in that 50 years around the world book, 30 years around the world. There is one ghat called Kedar Ghat, where Gurudev had taken Jal Samadhi. Okay, there Kedareshwar Ghat is there, Mandir is there. Just if you sit there and if you listen or this one, just the name Brahmanandam, we feel that Brahmanandam. That experience of so without anything, we are getting so much of blissfulness.
No
so
doubt,
I had 3-4 times that experience, Professor.
Yes, yes. You see, every place has its own value, and especially that place, Kashi itself is very auspicious, and then especially that ghat, it becomes more auspicious. So it is, and then it also depends on the individual, because you know it, so it has to be both ways. The thing is there, but then the receiver also should be of that level. So your experience is good. Yes, that's possible. Why not?
Dhanyavada. Jai Gurudev.
Okay. Shall we move on now to the next shloka? Okay. I will do the Sanskrit and then we'll continue. Sahasra yuga paryantam Aharyad brahmano viduhu ratrim yugasahasrantam teho ratra vido janaha sahasra yuga paryantam aharyad brahmano viduhu ratrim yugasahasrantam teho ratra vido janaha. Those who know that a day of Brahma spans 1,000 yugas, and that a night of Brahma spans 1,000 yugas, they are the knowers of day and night. Jai Gurudev.
The day of man is a very insignificantly small portion of time. It has an insignificant place in the consideration of cosmic life and cosmic realization. When we think of the entire process of evolution as the topic under investigation, the day could be spoken of in terms of the cosmic day. The cosmic day is the day of the Creator, Brahma. Creation begins with the dawn of this cosmic day. With the coming of the cosmic night, everything dissolves into the unmanifest. The span of the cosmic day is described here as the span of 1,000 yugas. It is compatible with the lifespan of Brahma as calculated in detail in the commentary of chapter 15, verse 3. Jai Gurudev.
So this shloka is giving us the knowledge of concept of time, which we have covered in chapter number 4, verse 1. I will quickly recap that one because most of you probably forgot we did it a long time ago. Time is conception to measure eternity. And the best measure will be the lifespan of something that has the greatest longevity in the relative field of creation. This, according to the enlightened vision of Vyasa, is Divine Mother, the Universal Mother, who is ultimately responsible for all that is, was, and will be in the entire cosmos. We call her Durgamba. The day of man is very insignificantly small portion of time in consideration of cosmic life. The cosmic day is a day of Creator, Brahma. Creation begins with the dawn of this cosmic day, and when night comes, everything dissolves into the unmanifest. The span of the cosmic day is the span of 1,000 yugas. It is compatible with the lifespan of Brahma. And this is explained very nicely in chapter number 15, third verse, but we will talk about it when we get there. Okay, now I'll stop here and take questions, and Bhuvnesh ji will answer. Okay, so that was pretty simple and straightforward, I guess. So shall we move on? I'll read the Sanskrit.
Jai Gurudev Hemaji.
Maria, do you have a question?
It's just a comment. I'm just thinking how fascinating it is. It relates to Maharishi's point and unbounded. that in order to measure the unbounded, we go to the point value of time. I just find it very fascinating. That
Bhuvneshji, please answer.
Yes, that because that is the another quality of the absolute. It says Anu Aniyan Mahto Mahiyan. Means the finer than the finest, smaller than the smallest, and bigger than the biggest. So that is
Yes.
obviously, again, it explains the transcendental value.
Beautiful.
That is the, yes, that is the cosmic itself, and then cosmic day and night comes. Yes.
Thank you for that, Bhuvneshji. Maharishi did not mention that in commentary of 4th chapter, 1st verse, but I'm happy that point of knowledge came out, that it is Anoraniyan,
Yes.
smaller than the smallest. Very good point. Okay. So we'll move on to the next shloka. Avyaktad vyaktayah sarva prabhavantyah ragame ratriagame praliyante tatraiva vyakta sanyake. Avyaktad vyaktayah sarva prabhavantyah ragame ratriagame praliyante tatraiva vyakta sanyake. At the dawn of the day of Brahma, all manifest creation comes forth from the unmanifest. At the coming of the night of Brahma, all things merge into that same unmanifest.
Brahma symbolizes divine intelligence set in motion to create the universe. This manifest Brahma is the higher nature of the absolute Brahman, as mentioned in chapter 7, verse 5.
So this is very brief commentary, but there is a lot to be said, and we will cover it very shortly. We have studied in Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, 15th verse, mechanics of creation. And we learned there that Brahma creates the universe. The first manifestation of creation is self-illuminant effulgence of life. This is quote from Maharishi's commentary, chapter 3, verse 15. This self-illuminant effulgence of life is called Veda. So that's the first step. The second step is rise of vibration, which brings out Prakriti of 3 gunas. This is the beginning of action in the process of creation. Just before the beginning of action, just before the subtlest vibration, is the source of creation, the source of limitless energy. This source of creation is Veda. This is Chaturmukha Brahma, creator, Prajapati, as opposed to Brahman, who is beyond Chaturmukha Brahma also. So Brahma or Veda is the source of all activity. But what we call Brahman is different from this. Brahman is Paramatma, God, whereas Chaturmukha Brahma is one of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. He is one level below Brahman, Paramatma. He is in the finest relative. Therefore, he is subject to the cycle of rebirth. This we just studied in verse 16 of this chapter. Just 2 shlokas before, we have read that he is the finest relative. Chaturmukha Brahma is in the finest relative. That explains what we are going to study in the next 1 or 2 shlokas. But only by reaching transcendental perfect state of Sri Krishna Bhagavan, absolute state, which is a perfect state of harmony of unmanifest absolute and manifest relative. Only then one reaches a state of perfection and there is no rebirth. So I thought this is an important point to cover. And Pooja, can you show that one slide on natural law? Yeah, this is the one. So the reason I wanted to show you this is because it's good to be clear on the terms and definitions. This is Maharishi's quote, the administrative structure of natural law. Purusha is absolute singularity, and Prakriti is the potential of activity embedded in Purusha. In Vedic language, enlarge please, yeah. In Vedic language, the unified aspect of Prakriti is Paraprakriti. So, Purusha and Paraprakriti are on the level of non-active silence. The divided value of Prakriti is Aparaprakriti. It is not unified and it is not para, it's not transcendental. Aparaprakriti is eightfold. It's in the relative. The eightfold Prakriti is earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, and ego. So, this इसको हटा सकते हैं पूजा. So, the reason I brought this up is because we want to understand that Purusha and Prakriti are at the same level. And I want to ask Bhuvnesh ji, is Chaturmukha Brahma on the same level, right, Bhuvnesh ji?
Actually, when we say there are 2 words, one is Brahm and another is Brahma. When we say Brahm, that is the one we can say Purusha level Brahm. But when we say Chaturmukhi Brahma, that is the, we can say, as you said, that is a lower. That is because it has started manifesting. While Brahm is one, we can say, the absolute.
Yeah.
Yes. And in this sloka especially, it has just especially mentioned that whatever the creation comes, then it in the night of the Brahma, it is all again going back to the unmanifested. So it manifests and then again it goes to unmanifest. And then even in that unmanifest, it remains there. Because when we say in Sandhya, we say Yatha Puru Akalpayat, means as was it before, it comes out again like
that. There's one more slide I want to show. Pooja, the Damaru slide, please. Can you show both of them? So, here we see Mahabhutas on the top. We are going from gross to the subtle. And when we come down to the tip, we see Ahankara. And then we see Paraprakriti, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And then in the pink, and underneath that we see in blue, that is Purusha. So Purusha is in the blue, it is Brahman. And Paraprakriti, Chaturmukha Brahma is on the level of pink. Is that right, Bhuvneshji?
Yes, actually, Brahm and Brahma, these two words are there, na?
Right.
Brahm and Brahma. Just as we say Brahma, the manifestation starts. I will say like that.
Yeah.
That way, even the three word one can say Brahm, Brahma, and Brahman. So Brahm and Brahman is same, but
Right.
Brahma is yes.
Right.
Yes.
So,
And you are right, they are at the one, Maharishi has already explained in the last quote which you mentioned, that it is only one, Purusha and Prakriti, they are at one level,
right.
when we are say at non-active level, but then once it starts activating, then it is the tenfold, eightfold Prakriti. Yes.
Right. So, Pooja, can you show the whole Damaru in one slide? Is it possible? Yeah, here. Okay. So, blue is Brahman, and pink, at the level of pink, where we see Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, that's where Paraprakriti and Chaturmukha Brahma are. Is that right, Bhuvneshji?
Yes, obviously. Just as the activity starts,
Okay.
Brahma is,
So,
we can say Rishi value. Brahma is more like a Rishi value, but then obviously from that everything comes up.
yeah. So
Yes.
sometimes there can be confusion with all these terms. So I was thinking, why we are putting it like this. Blue should be Brahman, where it is beyond this Paraprakriti and Purusha, which is, this comes in the Sagun Sakar Brahm. From here, the relativity begins. So Chaturmukha Brahma is in the relative. He is in the finest relative. Yes. And beyond that, in the blue is Paramatma. There is no activity, no nothing, no...
You can say Param Brahm.
Param Brahm. Exactly. Thank you for that word, Param Brahm. So blue is Param Brahma, and then pink is Chaturmukha Brahma, and then Paraprakriti and all that. So I just wanted, sometimes these terms can be a little bit confusing, but it's all very clear in my mind. I hope everybody also got that very clear. Okay, now we can move on. Oh no. Any other questions on this, please?
Jagrudev Hema, please, can you explain, you said that word chatur. What does that actually mean then?
Okay. Chatur Mukha Brahma. Chatur means four, Mukha means faces. As you know, Chatur Mukha Brahma means Brahma, the creator, who is in the finest relative, he creates. Brahman, Maharishi calls it Brahma, totality. Param Brahm. That Param Brahm is different from Chaturmukha Brahma. This everybody should get it very clear. Did everybody understand? Did you understand, Maria? Did I make it clear?
Thank you, Hema. Does it mean that when he gets his four heads, he's in the relative? So I can remember easily.
Yeah, in the relative, in the finest relative, he gets his four heads. And there's a reason for that. Okay. Because he's Veda. And so from there, he creates.
Beautiful,
so
thank you.
He is the second in line. First in line is Parabrahma. And something in Upanishads, that is referred to as Brahman. N they added. But Maharishi always calls that as Brahm, totality. Both are same. When Maharishi says Brahm and Upanishads say Brahman, they both are same. That is Param Brahma. He is at the top level authority. And one step below that is Chaturmukha Brahma. He is in the finest relative.
Mostly they don't even say Chaturmukhi, they just say Brahma. We say Brahma and Brahma. Yeah. Just as we say Brahma, it means that is the starting of manifesting.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
So otherwise, we can move on to the next shloka, 19. Bhutagrama sa evayam भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यः रागमे भूतग्रामः स एवायम् भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यः रागमे This same multitude of beings born again and again merges helplessly at the night of Brahma commences. O Partha, and comes into being at the beginning of the day of Brahma. Jai Gurudev.
This verse describes the eternal continuity of life. Just as a man retires from all his activity in the night and starts action again in the morning, so does Brahma, the creator, begin creation at the dawn of his day and puts an end to all activity at the end of the day. Thus, eternally moves the cycle of creation. This gives a vision of the cosmic cycle of life. Two small cycles of birth and death of the individual. The process of evolution of individual souls, however, is not affected by the cosmic cycles because to whatever state of evolution one has evolved, that is never disturbed. The souls rest in Prakriti during the cosmic night, just as the intelligence of man rests at night. Therefore, as far as the evolution of the soul is concerned, it does not matter for the individual whether it is night of the individual or the cosmic night. Jai Gurudev.
So this verse describes the eternal continuity of life. Brahma begins creation at dawn and retires at the end of the day. All beings merge in unmanifest at night and are born again at dawn. The souls rest in Prakriti during cosmic night. Just because they rest in Prakriti during cosmic night, it doesn't mean that they get liberated. No. When they take birth again, they start from where they left. Okay, now open to questions, please. If no questions, we will move on because we have some more to cover. Okay, that is verse number 20, right? We are on 20 now. Parastasmat tu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. Parastasmat tu bhavonyo avyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. But beyond that unmanifested creation, there is yet another unmanifest, that is eternal being. Which does not perish even when all beings perish. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. The unmanifest transcendent is beyond time. Beyond that unmanifest creation means beyond the state of Prakriti or nature, beyond the unmanifest state of the eightfold nature mentioned in chapter 7, verse 4. The word that refers to the state of dissolution mentioned in the previous verse. Another unmanifest, the transcendent eternal being, which eternally remains transcendent. This is the transcendent nature of Bhagwan as mentioned in chapter 7, verse 5. The cycle of creation and dissolution is a cycle that belongs to the field of the eightfold nature, Akshara Parabrahma, which in its manifest state appears as creation, and at dissolution it regains its unmanifest state and rests with the unmanifest nature of Bhagwan. The unmanifest state of Prakriti is a state of equilibrium in the three gunas, a state where the activity of the gunas ceases. Jai Gurudev.
Again, we are referring back to the chapter 7, verses 4 and 5. Creation and dissolution take place in eightfold Prakriti, Apara Prakriti. In its manifest state appears as creation and rests in unmanifest nature of Sri Krishna Bhagavan at the time of dissolution. An unmanifest state of Prakriti is in a state of equilibrium in the three gunas, and therefore without any activity of the gunas. That is the Paraprakriti we saw in the pink in the previous graph. And beyond that, unmanifest is another unmanifest. That is eternal being, Purusha. And this does not perish even when all beings perish. And that was in blue. So, questions please for Bhuvanesh ji.
Jai Gurudev, Hema.
Yep, Maria, go ahead.
It's just puzzling me about this cycle of birth and death and dark and light and night and day. Is that only in the relative field? It seems to be spilling now over into this absolute field as well.
No, it's not. Bhuvanesh ji will go ahead.
No,
Exactly,
you are right. I will say anything, wherever we experience something, is the field of relative. Whatever, it may be a divine experience, but still it is in the field of relative. For that they say, go gochar jahalak manjai. Wherever the mind goes, it is all Maya. The transcendent has no activity, it is completely silence. And when we say, even though when we say it is silence, then one is, it is always eternal, but then its nature is Prakriti. So when Prakriti, it comes out, manifests, and then again in the night it dissolves. The three gunas are there still, but they are not started manifestation. That is what I will put it, in case it is clear.
So what is in pink is unmanifest. That's why sometimes it is called as avyakta. And that's where my confusion was coming. But after studying this whole thing, it's very clear now, and how you explained, and I studied this again and again. So only that area in blue is absolute. There is no relativity in there. So it is permanent. And when we get to that state, there is no rebirth. But when we get to that state of pink level, which is avyakta, where the gunas are in equilibrium, that is the finest relative. The gunas are there, but they are inactive. And from that level, it is all, in the relativity, finest relativity. And Brahma being there, he is also subject to birth and death cycle. And that's why in the next 2 shlokas we are going to study, when we reach that state, we stay in that Brahmaloka for as long as Brahma is there. And when his span ends, then we get mukti. We get into that blue state. That's how I understood. And that's explained, Maharishi explained very beautifully in the subsequent shlokas. All the confusion or, whatever doubt is there will be cleared completely, because Maharishi made it crystal clear what this blue area is, pink area is, unmanifest, absolute Purusha, Brahman, and everything. So because we are running out of time, we will stop here and then we will continue our discussion. This is extremely important, extremely interesting, and extremely liberating. We get liberation from understanding of these shlokas, because we are already having experience of transcending. And then this coming shlokas are very, very crucial for this whole chapter. Bhuvneshi, please make some comments and then we will end.
No, certainly you are right. It is all enlightening. Listening and talking about this knowledge, it always gives, we can say, evolution to consciousness. So that is very good. It's good. Come, yes. We should continue.
Okay. So
May I ask just a quick question, Hema?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about this whole element of desire and intention, and then we've got the reality of the nervous system. From my own experience, that it was because of the nervous system I could not hold that divinity. So no matter how strong my intention was, I had to surrender and just let it all go. And so it makes me wonder, what is the decisive factor of our evolution? I suppose both. I don't know. Thank you.
The answer is coming in the next 2-3 shlokas. I made a note. Maharishi specifically mentioned nervous system, the importance of body and nervous system. It's an extremely interesting point, and that will throw light on your question, and we will deal with it in the next session, Maria. That is very, very important. How some people neglect their body and nervous system. No, we cannot, because body is the vehicle to get enlightenment. It's extremely important to take good care of your nervous system and your body. And Maharishi gave tips on how to take good care of your body, not just transcending. It doesn't say just do TM and you'll be enlightened. No. You have to take good care of your body and nervous system. And he explained the value of taking good care of your nervous system. So we'll deal with it next time. Thank you all for joining, especially to Dr. Bhuvnesh Sharma. And we will have Samaveda now and close. We will meet tomorrow at 3 o'clock India time and continue, and hope Bhuvnesh ji will join us again.
I will try, yes. Sure.
Jai Gurudev. Samaveda, please.
Jai Gurudev.
Puja, is Samaveda coming?
Again, I disconnected Hemaji.
Oh, sorry. So we will end the meeting now. Jai Gurudev. We will meet again tomorrow, 3 o'clock.